Hey everyone, welcome to Breakout Wednesday for the 19th of November 2025. It's currently about coming up to 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. First of all, remember this is not financial advice, not a financial advisor. This is simply a video blog and how one trader sees the market, and everyone needs to take responsibility for their own decisions. All right, so let's just go. This is a chart of the as NASDAQ ETF. NDQ. Let's just quickly, obviously we're having a little bit of a pullback, and I just want to quickly go to All Ords, which is having a more of an aggressive pullback than a lot of the US names. Okay, down below 200. It's been pretty sharp, right? It's had some nice big dumping days. Okay, and first of all, like this is just normal shit, right? It's nothing. The world's not ending. Nothing that drastic's going on. And you know, the market just rinses and repeats, right? Like it's just for those who've been members for more than say a year, you're going to pretty used to sick of hearing this, but just look at the damn chart, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, just this is just normal. Just get used to it, and the market's going to go back up, right? Eventually, it always does. It just goes down, it goes up. It's like this, like yo-yo, isn't it? Just bang, 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 and it's just like everyone starts freaking out and doing the wrong things at the wrong time, because that's what the market does. It messes with your psychology and you get all emotional, and you start getting all soft and you start doing really dumb things, right? So just, I like I've talked about this heaps, but I love the long-term stuff when markets are dumping, because I start thinking about not when I can panic sell like a complete loser, but when I can actually just enter long-term stuff and add to those positions, because I've got gear in a self-managed super fund and separate accounts as well, and I've never planned to sell it really. Well, I do one day, and it's no point owning something if you don't sell it one day, but it'll be a long, long time from now. And so where would I get back in? Okay, and like this is pretty optimistic, but I actually want the market to dump down here. Okay, like everyone's waking up thinking, oh shit, I hope the Dow hasn't fallen, blah, blah, blah. It's like, who cares? If the Dow's down 20% tomorrow, I don't give a shit. I'll just start buying gear as it gaps down here. Okay. Here's my point where just completely back the wagon up and pile in everything I can around the 26 level. And that looks absurd, doesn't it? Right, to get to 26. But back here, it went from 34 down to 22, just like that. It can go way past 26 if the market goes really crazy, and I'll be carrying a paper loss as it crashes down to 20. Okay, just the market can fall so fast, so fast, so fast. It just knocks your socks off. Okay, and so that's that. So like, I just try and most people are panic selling when the market's crashing. Just learn to just think like a proper investor thinks, okay? Like just picking cheap shit up when everyone else is selling, okay? That is the trick to long-term investing. It's the opposite of trading, isn't it? Like, anyway, that's that. The other thing I think just is worth rattling through is, I'm out of zero now, but, I've been in zero since back here. Pretty much doubled my money and then gave a lot back. Obviously, I haven't been panic selling here, but I was getting out here when it wasn't getting out of this and breaking here and bang. So I was in at whatever it was, 80 something, and out at 149 or 150 or whatever it was. Then this thing's down here. I look back on it like 2 weeks later after selling, and it's down here at 117. And I start thinking, oh shit, like I'm glad I took my not took my losses, but I'm glad that stock took me out. Like, it's just crazy how quick you can give back kind of a couple years of gains. Okay. And then, look back, I like, if I'm getting out at 150 and at 80 something and it went up to 190, you might be looking at it thinking, okay, I probably could have managed that better, right? When they did that huge takeover of that American company that's losing money and they spent $2 billion, that was here, okay? And I remember that day. I was like texting some friends thinking, shit, this is probably the day to sell, because it's one of these de-worsifications most likely, where this company, they're ambitious about growing and they go and buy some shit business overseas and it's going to help them, and the next thing you know, it just bogs them down for like freaking 10 years trying to figure out the weeds of some shit business they just bought. and it's not the answer to all their prayers. Do you know what I mean? And so that might be unfolding in zero. I have no idea, but it certainly, I've seen that unfold dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and that probably, you know, I should have trusted my gut, all right, and sold there, but I didn't, and got out at 150, and it's still a huge win for me. But I just bring this up because you got to actively manage your long-term stuff, because if I was still bag holding that now, I'd be, you know, crawling under the bed, right, trying to numb my pain, all right. And so what's another one? Like, I'm not in TNE. Okay, I did have a little trade here, but I got stopped out. But look at it, what it's done. All right, it had this tightening base that I was getting all excited about. I was waiting for a break of 40. It never broke it. I just had a starter here, stopped out here, small loss. I was going to go big on a break of 40, never broke it, rolled over, and bang! Holy shit! And so, you know, and the other one I bailed out of a while ago that's just kept going down was REA, right? In REA, as I've talked about heaps for ages. I can't even remember where the hell I got into it. Shit, guys, I don't know. I've been in for ages, but and then it's stopping out here. So and I had a big win in it, but now it's just continues to go down, right? So got to actively manage it. I get the long-term thing, and I love my long-term investments a year. And if you're going to be in something from, say, if you're going to make 100x, 200x, 300x, 400x, you're going to have to weather through huge pullbacks. But to the same point, like when you're up like 100%, like you've got to manage it, and you've got to have a plan. And it's hard. It really is hard. But I think technicals are so good, because something like T&E, like, you know, if someone that understands the technicals or the zero chart, you can be looking at it thinking, okay, like, there's this writings on the wall. Like, I'm either going to have a 5-year time horizon here where I'm happy for this to go back down all the way to where I bought it, and, like, you know, give back 100% gain. And that, if that's your strategy, that's actually okay. Like, if you're happy to hold it for 10 years and you think it's going to go all the way back down to, say, $80, and then, you know, and then back up to 300, then good on you for having the, you know, the kudos to kind of like, you know, believe in that and do it. But I'm probably not very good at that. So that is that. And so now I'm still scanning. Okay, obviously lithium stocks are strong. You know, Polo's been just piling into every lithium name, you know, known to the sun. Done pretty well, most likely. His count's probably doubled over the last few weeks. And, you know, PLS, MAN, you know, I think it's been CXO. They've all been flying. So, you know, good work. This CXO setup was something very special, wasn't it, on that break? Anyway, hindsight. And, you know, I just looking for the next breakouts. Okay, I still think there's heaps of gold names here. You know, if we, you know, I rattle through these watch lists, and there's all these Davis boxes setting up. You know, this is OSM, obviously, diversified metal space. Setting up here, not really dumping in this market correction, setting up there, and it's kind of all-time highs. And so there's the sort of things I'm looking at, just stocks that just are just weathering the storm, basing sideways, and just being patient and just watching them, and then the orders go in. You know, you look at some of the coal names, they're just lingering, aren't they? Here's that all these long-term moving averages, you've got 50, 21, and it's just comes down, hits to 50, and then it's just bobbing away. And then let's just scroll through a bit more. Westgold, another gold name, right? Not really getting hammered. Wagner's, yeah, those construction ones are good. Some oil and gas stocks are just setting up here. And so, like, when this market stops, you know, the drift down, you know, these are the names, some of their names I want to kind of be in, okay? The ones that are still popping up in Davis boxes, and just lingering above their 21 and 50 moving averages, and then I want to be taking those setups, okay? And so I'm just scrolling through, but, you know, you can see, like, I'm just looking for relative strength names up here, sitting here in the boxes. You know, Rio, I still, you know, I'm pretty, you know, I still think these big miners and the big is where it's at, and there's going to be some huge gains to be made for people patient with that. You know, like, look what's happening. Like, the market's correcting, and Rio is still sitting where it's gone, still sitting here, like, on its 50-day, okay? Whereas you got the old leaders of the market, like your zeros and shit, that are down here, okay? So where's the relative strength? Where's the money's flowing? Right? You just don't need to be a genius, do you? Right? You know, the money is here. That's where it is. It's not here. Okay. And so the big for this to happen takes big institutional selling, big funds selling, and for this to happen takes big institutional buying and funds to buy and then not sell the first sign of weakness. Okay, so I still think there's heaps of money to be made very soon in the mining sector, and don't fall asleep, don't give up. When the going gets hard, the market has a few down days. You know, as we always say, you know, just keep at it, right? Because you know, that's where the money's at, guys. If you can just be there at the end of little bear markets waiting to buy, the first names at breakout, boom, and that's what it's about. Okay, short and sharp. I got to get back to life. Take care, guys. Catch up.